Hi, my name's Amelia. This is my channel about parental narcissistic abuse and unenmeshing yourself, taking yourself out of the abuse and finding yourself again. I'm in the process of doing this myself, and I'm also a writer here in Ontario, Canada, where I live, and I'm working on, I think it's my 8th book. This book is called Scapegoat Lightworker, and the book is about finding out what it is about you that's special as you pull yourself out of a narcissistic abuse pattern. What I mean by that is if you are what someone could call a light worker, you are perhaps somebody that can turn on the light in a situation and say, in this group, in this family, in this relationship, I don't like what's going on. Things are not fair. There's a hierarchy here, and I'm exposing it. Now, we're not all built like that, because when we are conditioned through the history of a family or perhaps a cult or a religious group or a church or even a school, we're not conditioned to think outside the box. We're conditioned to think the way that others who perhaps have been trying to control us have been forcing us to think or act. So Rebecca Mandeville wrote about family scapegoating abuse. And when I read her books on this subject, I realized that the same principle of the scapegoat and the family hierarchy can be applied to any group. A cult, a church, a school, a friend group, even two people interpersonally, there can be a scapegoat there. In families, it's the worst. My channel is about being the child of 2 narcissistic parents and all of the things that I've extricated myself from and observed watching these 2 people behave this way, toying with my life like it was some sort of hobby for them for years. But what in fact is happening when you're being abused by narcissists? They are using you to cover their own shame. That's really what's going on when you are at the hands of a narcissist. There's something they don't want others to know, and if you start turning on the light and being a light worker, you represent a threat to this narcissist and the way that other people see them. So I spent years of my life observing this firsthand with my parents, especially my mother, and extricating myself from it was very difficult. I would say it's about the same as getting out of a cult. You have to de-brainwash yourself. The difference, however, is society won't offer you any support, because when they find out that you don't like one of your parents and you're telling them that you've been harassed and you had your boundaries crossed, it doesn't mean anything. It might mean something to your friends, but greater society, greater family, do not approve of vilifying your parents. I'm here to tell you that your parents have crossed boundaries with you, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this video. And if they do it repeatedly, that means they don't care. They don't care about how you feel, and they are there simply for themselves, even giving. So while I came down with a horrific illness that I have now that's left me largely housebound, not constantly, but most of the time, my mother took it upon herself to help me. And this served her in many ways. A, she's a retiree, she was bored. B, she is kind of a go-getter anyway. She likes to be somewhat busy and didn't have a lot to do. She also had a family, a larger family. She's the youngest of 13, and I am her only child, to make herself look good in front of. And also, I do believe she did actually care about me. But people like my mother have a fractured personality. And from dealing with her in my life, I also have a fractured personality. But I recognized many, many years ago that I didn't want to be like this. So I've been vigilant about my own behavior, seeing, am I acting like this? Am I doing this? And changing it as I am able. So the best word to describe my relationship with my mother was enmeshed. And I have been rescuing myself from it for a while. I had to be honest with her and honest with others about it. I was given no support from her family at all. Nobody there was really willing to go there with me or believe me. So I have no family anymore. But I believe when one door is closed, a better one will open. And I do have friends that understand my situation and are even familiar with my mother, as she has talked about me behind my back with all of these people for decades. So if you're like me, you are a light worker. You're somebody who wants to say no to abuse, bring it into the light, open it up, make things better. That's a threat to narcissists. And if you are in a situation where you are stuck in a church or a family or a workplace where you are being bullied and abused, my heart goes out to you. I understand how you're feeling. I've experienced a lot of these different scenarios. And you're right. And through this process, I'm hoping that you will find your own light and take comfort in knowing that you're helping yourself. You're probably helping other people too. Thanks for being here.